Molweni guys, and welcome to another episode of Amabali Pod, a podcast for Amabali Wetu. And this week's episode, we're speaking gatekeeping in civil society organizations and movements.
Yeah, we are talking to Unoxolo Mfocwa.
Yes.
Who is a good friend of ours and an activist.
Seasoned activist. Who's currently working at Amandla Mobi as a junior campaigner.
Definitely, and we just felt like, she had some wonderful insights about, how to think about gatekeeping,
and navigate
gatekeeping. So, yeah, we hope that, again, that this conversation was as insightful.
And inspiring and motivating, because a lot of us are going through gatekeeping. We've gone through it, we still are going through it. We're trying to break those barriers and break away from those shackles that are literally stopping us primarily as black women from succeeding towards the passions that we are inclined to.
Definitely, and we owe it to ourselves to just provide each other with avenues of resistance. So that's what we're trying to do.
Just know that you're not alone.
You're not alone, guys. You're not alone. We're in this together, and we are speaking out about it. We are speaking about it together.
Yes.
So yeah, we hope you enjoy, and please share your comments, your thoughts, your questions.
Share with the friends, everybody, the whole community.
Sharing communities, building community power.
Then if the students don't accept this, we'll start our own movement. Students must go.
Welcome to another episode of Amabali Pod, a podcast for Amabali Wetu.
Yes, Amabali Wetu.
Hayi awakho, hayi awam, but awethu.
Again, you've got Uciko Situmo here.
Yolanda Kyanki.
And yes.
Louder, my friend, louder.
I guess I'm the way to in the Amabali right now.
So just gatekeeping, it's gonna be a free-flowing conversation. I think we just want to find out firstly from you what does gatekeeping mean to you, and I guess we'll just take it from there. How have you experienced it? What are the issues you've had with gatekeeping from a personal perspective, or even from a perspective where you've had friends, or just unamehlo now uyabona kaloku. So
hectic. No, I think for me, basically, what it would mean, or what it means for me, gatekeeping is basically people who act as blockers to accessing something or someone. So, in terms of the fact that this person already has access to the thing or to the person you want, but they feel as though it needs to go through them. Whatever access you get to that specific person or to that thing you may need at the time, be it funding, whatever you need at that time, has to happen via Bona. If they're not there to facilitate the situation, then you don't qualify to even, access that space or access that person or whatever. And yeah, for me, it's basically about that, about access and people trying to regulate access to specific things based on how they feel about you on a personal level, or just them making themselves that important in the process of things flowing to the point that they're actually blocking progress yabanye abantu by actually being like, whoa, no, it has to go through me.
And there's a certain criteria that you must fulfill according to law for them to actually move forward with what you need to happen.
So basically, I don't like you, Yolanda. So why must you get that funding? Why must you even qualify to sit at the table when I'm the one who has the keys? So basically, I have the keys, so bow to me, and then I'll give you access. But if you're not about to go by my rules, then sorry, baby.
Baby Zantoni. I feel even recruitment process, capitalism, even just applying to a job position where you don't even know the person, but they might know of you. They come with people in mind. By the time you get there, that's gatekeeping on its own, limiting the avenues of success for people to actually have shared resources.
Okay, first.
And it's such like it's a multi-layered thing now, you know, because it's like at the one sector there's the intimate, you are gatekeeping physically a space, but then there's like also the social economic gatekeeping, the political gatekeeping, you know, the gendered gatekeeping, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like also the thing about gatekeeping is that it's difficult to put one face to who has gate kept your success, because your into in your life is actively gatekeeping.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
For me, what is peculiar though, I think also I think in the space that we're in as gender-based or anti-gender-based violence activists or social injustice activists, social
justice
activists, yes, thank you, is that it's so odd. We're doing the work that's supposed to be the Lord's work, right? But,
Hallelujah.
yeah, hallelujah. But then in that the process of doing the Lord's work, we are being the devil itself, you know. We're not wanting to open up the space. We're not wanting to like resources is one factor, but even just making sure a person's voice is validated, it's just another thing. It goes far, dude, because you might not have the avenues to like take now Yolanda or not all out of that position, but by me giving you the space and the platform to just be yourself there and to show what you to kind of perform your capabilities, another person might catch onto that. It doesn't necessarily have to be with me, but the fact that I brought you along should go a long way. But
But even that Yolanda brought Knox along, so we consider Knox's voice something we can listen to, whereas someone else who comes from a different background, different educational background, like Len, we talk about how multi-layered it is. So in some spaces it's about ungene ngobani, or who knows you, who brought you here, or who are you representing, what organization are you representing, and then does your voice count based on that?
Yes.
And then you find, like, especially in like the NGO space and the activist space, it's grassroots activists who are not known to people in the space who see themselves as, you know,
the Beyoncés,
the Beyoncés of the activism. People who are unknown, who are actually doing the Lord's work on the ground with the people, who aren't just there in the offices,
covering resources.
you know. Those people usually like don't get that type of clout in Zatindon. It's also a matter of like, oh, how many followers do you have? What school did you go to? Do you even belong in this space type of thing? So it's a matter of also like people thinking they're above certain people in certain ways. Therefore, I don't think you deserve to even be in this space. It's I'm better than you. I've done more than you. Like, for me, it's been an age thing.
Yeah.
Mostly. Like, I've experienced a lot of it this year. An age thing, whereas it's here to now have been activist thing since before you were born. What is a 94 kid? What does a 94 kid have to tell me about the struggle? Like, what do you know?
As though you haven't struggled, as though everything's been peaceful.
Yeah. And it's like now we the gatekeeping is so deep that gatekeeper in a space is so activist. So it's like, it's weird in the sense we're doing the same things. It's a Lord's work song. We're pushing in the same direction. I'm probably doing something you are doing in another space. But who are you to tell me to activist in a different way or to suggest that we should activist in a different way? And for us, mostly in the NGO space, young people, it's young people trying to make it, trying to push activism against avenues that haven't been used as much. And then
considering the space and time that we're in as well.
Yeah, also considering that technology and all that stuff. And then getting into a space and trying to pose that to people, and they're like, dude, Tina, into siyenzayo siyapiketha sizapiketha xa sifuna ungazosixelela nge-discourse management ku-Twitter uba no, you want to have the conversation going, blah blah, all that stuff, because what do you know? It's always a matter of I've got the keys. It's basically I've got the keys over and over again, and it's so unaffirming in the space. It's like, oh shit, okay, let me go find my little corner with people who are like
and that imposter syndrome kicks in hard.
Definitely. And that's what you get into spaces where people deliberately try to exclude you from the space, you know, and it's like, are we not all here to do the same thing? You know, it's like for Rimna as a anti-GBV activist, social justice advocate, No, I don't want to work in the GBV sector. I don't want to.
It shouldn't be a thing that we're doing.
And mna umsebenzi wami ndibona ngento that is supposed to be moving towards a
end.
point where the GBV sector doesn't have to exist. Ngolu hlobo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It must change. It must be about how are we giving resources as opposed to how are we making sure abantu are not being harmed, gate kept, and yonke lonto. And what I'm realizing more and more as we play into these, sectors of activism that bridge NGO funding world is that there are two kinds of people that operate in that space. Kukabantu who are there because of what they believe on principle and what they believe needs to be done in order to make a change. And then Kukabantu who are there because it is a career. And I'm not trying to say that one is better than the other. And I'm not even trying to say that you shouldn't turn your activism into a career. Something gotta pay the bills.
Yeah.
Something's got to pay the bills.
Yeah.
But the minute we start careerizing something that is supposed to be driven by the impetus of the dignity of human life,
Yeah.
then obviously kaloku sizaqalisa ugatekeepana because mna ndizaqala ipokoto yam before ndicinge the cause. So it's just, it's iyadina, this kind of mentality in a space where we all actually need to band together resources. Bekufanele sonke sithi, okay, wena unantoni, and
How can I help you
can I
improve
help
that
you?
space that you're covering?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not to say bakupa from ipokoto yakho. No, it's fine, girl. We all have families. We all have our own ngxakis.
Yeah.
Cool.
Njalo.
We're all hungry.
Yeah, silambile akho ngxaki umuntu kufuneka atye but masingavimbani as
Yeah.
we're eating.
I mean, I guess I was going to touch onto the question around stagnation. From a personal experience and even just witnessing, I guess, those around you, do you think that bureaucracy / gatekeeping, stagnate proactive change? Again, with what you're saying about the end goal is just that there is no gender-based violence, there is no social injustice, there is no anything that is hindering people from them realizing their full human rights. I just want to know, you're saying it, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. Do you think that it does stagnate proactive change in our society, considering that we're supposedly a democratic country, that we should, New Dawn, guys, jargon is out here, I guess in this new era that we're into the 6th parliament, whatever it is, administrative parliament, what are the things that we should be cognizant about around gatekeeping, around the change that needs to be happening, around the New Dawn? I might not support Ramaphosa's rhetoric, but we all want a new beginning and an end to the suffering that we've been going through as a country, as Black women.
I think, what people need to think about at the moment, especially in these activist spaces and in spaces of organizing and stuff like that, is the gatekeeping is closing it. It's closing it. There's so many people who are brilliant, like Choyo, who are just being like, you know what, fuck it. I'd rather just sit at home. This is too much. Because also, landomos iamba ne confidence abantu, iamba ne mental health yabantu on top of that. So many people are just walking out of the space and just being like, fuck it. And it comes from the neoliberal capitalist agenda, yoba, we're all in competition. Why are we competing about fighting social injustice? Why must my campaign be better than yours? We're doing the same thing. So, oh no, you're hijacking my thing. I've been doing this for so many years. How could you? Now you're going to do the same thing. Babes, sometime I'm going to contribute something that's gonna put an end to the sector. That's the point. Unless there are people like prolonging as sectors for their own pockets, because it's possible. And neoliberal capitalism says we must make money somehow. We must compete with somebody about something. And this is what we spoke about sometime last year, Yolanda, about how you go into activist spaces and you think, okay, this is the space where I'm going to be fully affirmed in my brilliance, in what I'm good at, in what I believe in what I want to fight for. And then you get to that space and you're constantly being beat down by the next person. Constantly being beat down because how dare Yolanda activist better than me? How dare Yolanda trend on something I've been trying to trend on for the past years? I have an account that's been going for this long. How dare you come in and trend? It's like the whole... people get this discomfort with someone else getting, and that's busy clout for now, But Landioba, okay, I've been activisting in this space for this long. Dizamilo Rana, this specific campaign, that one, the other. As sebenzanga as much as I wanted them to. Someone comes in, fresh ideas, fresh take on things. It gets the traction it needs, and then once it makes a lot of traction, now there's a jealousy factor. It's like, and how dare you? Over and over again, there's how dare you come into the space and do that. And that's part of the gatekeeping. Like, people might not think that's what they're doing, but they're doing it actively, and they're doing it to a lot of young activists who could be coming into the space with creativity,
young professionals, young graduates,
everywhere, babes, everywhere. Like, I could make an example for you in the event space, like my experience of the event space in Grahamstown, if we like gonna take it out of what we in, like the politics and stuff like that. Like, my experience of like events, just trying to do events as a woman events organizer in like a town like Grahamstown. Everyone's event is popping off here and there, but there are certain people that you need to pass through, who need to approve your idea, who need to approve that no, she's one of us, so it's fine, we can push for this person. Then there's certain people who will say, okay, you can do what you want to do, but you need to do it under me. It's also that
time it's your idea, it's your intellectual property,
but you must sub under me because I have the connects, babes. I can connect you to so and so and so and so and so and so who are going to take your thing and make it big. So when sublet the idea yako, and then we're going to do the things, and it's constantly that in each and every space you walk into. Like, it's
a mixture of greed. When idea, but the fact that you have the connects, now you feel like there's a like an in or like thing for you that you can gain from. Do you just give the person the contacts that they need and let them flourish on their own? You don't have to all be doing the same thing. Like, we really don't. And it's like, I mean, this might be a bit of a sidetrack, but the last episode of Being Bonang, she was also saying the same thing about like, can Day one as
wow, we are multi-talented.
And you can be, and that's where collaboration comes in. Even when you are multi-talented, it doesn't mean no knocks and you need to sub under me. They can't idea, but didn't connect. No matter not to 40-60 cards, you know, let's be the multi together. Why is it that now I need to still be the one who's got the voice, the face, because Knox is still, you know, you want money. You're still begging for the money. So it's just like, I don't know, dude. I think it's greed. It has a lot to do with people's personality traits, egos, zabo. And it's a result of capitalism. Society we live in.
But this is the thing for Rumna. It's that sometimes and you're right, it's about greed. It's about just an insatiable hunger for everything, because it's not about survival. It's post-survival, this kind of thing. This gatekeeping at the top most levels, in the most visceral ways, you know what I'm saying? Who make sure that shit is gatekept. It's not because they don't have spare change or whatever. It's not even because it will compromise how much they get. It's just because and that's a culture. That's a culture that we live in.
But also, like, it exists at very basic levels. I'm thinking about like dealing with going to home affairs, for instance.
Dude.
You are gonna be gatekept 5 times before you get what you need to do in a home affairs. Because there's someone who feels like, I got the keys, dog. And uzawudlula and ungonwabisanga mna udlule. Like abaphansi eflatini ngoku makuthi unemess.
Ngiyabhatala irent.
Umuntu akaphethangi akaphethangi ntoni eshotayo okanye hey andikuthandi ubuso balo muntu. Therefore andikuthandi ubuso bakho, therefore like you must bow, babes. You must bow, you must know about Ndim ophethe isitshixo. It's that thing yoba kumane emgidini kumntwana isitshixo so therefore you must bow and you need to do, and as never the confidence abantu azikho ziyaleka noma yintoni.
I just think ikhona nala history mana ndiyazi mhlawumbe ndiyayibhuta, but ikhona little history of colonialism, I think particularly with black people, because most of the gate kept spaces that I've gone through, right, it kind of like some psychological effect where blacks, as if I'm that person, zawulala ndithi ndimfunela uNox kangafumani utywala emcimbini isitshixo besikho, do you know what I mean? Or it's the security guard, I didn't let so and so's visitor in because akusala ndimatshingilane ndiqashele loo nto. But like in all honesty, dude, like we can let all of this bureaucracy slip, stop making people's lives difficult, so long as you're not breaking like a hectic law, like you're not murdering anyone, you're not raping anyone, why are we making people's lives so difficult? We enjoy it because black people have literally gone through like, I don't know, centuries of just being subordinate, you know. So every level, every chance you get, yes, I'm gonna make my voice. It's power. It's power.
It's also so I experienced something close to this not so long ago. I just remembered now how this reminds me of, you know, when you someone is like your superior, type of thing, and you address things a certain way with them, and they're like, how dare you speak to me like that? I wouldn't speak to my boss like that. Like, hello babes, like, we are trying to be human, we're trying to relate in a normal way. Like, can I not be comfortable enough to tell you things, to put things straightforward in your face? But I don't like it when it's like this, I don't like it when it's like that. And then because of the subordinate culture, you expect everyone else who's below you as you see them to also do the same thing you are doing. Babes, just because you must, you know, bow to someone and you mustn't relate to another human being as a human being. It's like, you know too much of your rights. Like, I don't do that in my, you know, with my superior. Why would you have the guts to even
do that with me?
And that's another form of like gatekeeping, in the sense we can't even speak out certain types of ways, you know, because the subordinate space, it's constant like resubordination yabantu, but someone must always be ngaphansi, khona singaphezulu ngaphansi, you know, khona lo muntu sokufuneka ngaphansi.
The little respectability politics, guys, it's tied into so many things that it's so hard. How would we even begin to like untangle gatekeeping or bureaucracy? Because bureaucracy khona sendlini, kwi-family zethu ikhona, kwi-religion ikhona, nakwi-culture. So it's like,
sorry, ubayijonga ngolhlobo Yolanda, i-bureaucracy khona ehleli imile. Then the gatekeepers bancedisana nayo bayenza worse.
Yes.
Because ungekadili nazo ne-bureaucratic processes zendawo that are set on paper. You are definitely dealing with someone who's making it that much more difficult to even start the process of dealing with the bureaucracy.
Exactly.
Fana nalento license, noba e-traffic department, there's just people who are like, I mean, this has been very insightful, and I mean, thank you. I mean, I don't know, is there anything else you'd like to get across?
Yeah, I mean, I think I do want to just like spend a little bit more time on conversations about power, you know, because I think that's the crux of it when it comes to gatekeeping. And
because sometimes systems do work for the betterment of people.
Sometimes the systems do work. And it's unfortunate that we don't have access to working systems, not because the systems don't necessarily not work, but because abantu are constantly craving power. And also conceptions of power being, for not to have power, as opposed to I can actually find power in being
helping
a good, helpful person. Now I can walk away. I feel most powerful when I've come out of a collaborative effort, right? As opposed to
working in a silo.
So and I think I would like to just have.
I'm curious, what's the link between that and the fourth industrial revolution? Because the more we're getting into, I don't know, maybe in the next 100 years or so, everything can be super digitized, technologized, whatever all these English words, right? And then the gatekeepers are human beings. I don't know, like it might just be a thought that I haven't really concretely thought about or clearly thought about. But essentially, I wonder, what do you think, like the relationship between us going like very much into the fourth industrial revolution and gatekeeper? Who will be the gatekeepers? Robots. Essentially, how do we deal with that as humans as well? Where we're so strung up or hung up on power, but not also realizing that the world is also evolving with you or without you. And technology is going to take over. So what happens what does gatekeeping look like 100 years from now? I guess that's the question. How do you imagine it to be, considering there's the fear of robots and technology taking over human life?
I'm just like, Here, Yolanda, you're like, yo, dog, I want to have these chats about your 4IR.
Good try is coming. Good try fire is coming.
Yes.
Yo, give me some lean.
But like, I want to go back to Tiko. You still have a question. We'll come to your question. We'll talk about it. But I want to like answer Tiko's question.
No, Nabin Busa, like mostly about power and why it is that we feel as though the power that we need or the power that we want is a power that comes out of as opposed to a power that comes from collective survival and collective action. Like, so for example, I mean, I would like to believe that I've never put somebody in a space where they were subordinate or whatever, you know. But in the case that I have, I apologize to that person. But also, I don't feel as though I would have walked away feeling
good about that.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't have felt powerful about myself as a person, because a lot of what I feel about myself is trying to be a considerate person to other people, you know. So like, why is it that we can't shift our conceptions of power as power not being a relationship between the dominant and the subordinate, but power being something that emanates from like
each other as humans,
so
society.
When Yolanda is not because whatever, you know, it's because actually if you are getting, you know, a better life and better living conditions, then that actually also, it means that the potential
you're doing your good as well.
Yeah, you know, and just considerateness, we're true, you know, why can't we find power in considerateness?
Kulang and Trupeko, that's my answer.
I think it's divide and conquer most. I think for me it would start there, because dividing people means they don't realize their collective power.
Yes, that Ubuntu spirit.
Or they struggle. Leave me alone, Mandela. But like, basically, it's people are failing to put together and understand what people power means versus namdine power. So magniyo, you know, type of thing. There's that. It's very much for me based on people not understanding what collective power can do, not quite grasping, talking about it, you know, all that, but not grasping la way to because way to means it's not about you, it's not about your ego, it's not about your accolades, it's not about how long you've been doing this. It's about, with one more head involved in this situation, it's even better.
Yeah.
Like improve the situation but be community. Whether your talent is zakho was born ngathi ziyasapasa ezakho babes, that's your situation that you must deal with internally. But like, I think if people would understand the basis of people power and what it means to actually like to scale power, because indoni power yakho in this system, because we are dealing with a system, but it's like, now we subordinate someone in as much as undenza subordinate yakho ufuna nifile ubangona mandla this that and the other, but you are also like bowing to someone. So like,
you bowing to the funders.
Yeah, there's someone you are bowing to now. So what does it mean to capture the collective power to a point where it's more powerful than your individual power? We do more together. Like, it's cliche and everything, man. No, it's the truth. But it's the truth. It's the truth. Like, there's no way
change does not happen in a vacuum.
And the thing is, the only way we can beat the system is to go against it, right? And so if we keep reproducing what neoliberalism and capitalism tell us to do over and over again, then I can't do change up. There's always going to be someone on top of someone on top of someone. Oppressors are change. Moves from being white to being black, moves from being a black man
to an Asian man,
you know, to another black woman oppressing you, whereas in that space be
black man,
being daughter, or a queer person now oppressing another queer person because we are not the same type of queer according to them. It's always like, there's always that power thing. But once people realize, like, the power of organizing together and like just land where people power. It's very important.
Yeah.
In Doba, people realize that together it's much better.
Yeah. In Kringisa, Yakumbula Knox, last day we watched that with Nicole Carty, that documentary. I don't know what it was.
Civil rights,
Civil
rights, yeah.
Yeah, and in PE, right? And like just how every person mattered in that community by to shutting down the economy and like making sure the whites feel it in their pockets, right? And even that how they mobilized people and they made every person understand that Jonga, I will say even it's pointless. We need to literally stay away from the shops, before the day, and we will feel the effects if we all stick together. And it worked, you know. They got whatever demands that they had set with regards to the economic shutdown and boycott and all of that. And it was just, I think, even messaging, guys, like people power, and I call people power Ndiva put the power in us.
We'll
And then
do it for you. We'll
Mm.
do it for you.
That is so problematic, guys.
Yeah,
like people
yeah,
do not
yeah.
like, and it's so toxic how like even mainstream media is complicit to this.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you should be asking those critical questions when you as a journalist are in a space and you're in a space with an MEC with the whatever. MEC, okay, thank you, but Tolubuza, ayami power, because I want to know what can I do to push you.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be me saying, oh please do this thing for
And
me.
yes, it's true, because the other side of that spectrum is instead of putting the power, giving us the power, it's me, I'm gonna give you the power.
Yeah,
to
that
do it.
empowerment rhetoric.
No, why are you taking it? Why are you giving it to
So,
me?
but we are
To the young
they're rationing the
Yeah.
power we have.
All I need are avenues so that I can
Live.
I can live and exercise my power. I don't need you to do it for me. I don't want
I was never
I don't want
incapable.
you to give it to me.
Yeah.
I was never incapable.
But Galon, nale chat effects of we are doing it for them. Even it's very NGO, it's very activist.
Yeah.
This chat of
It is.
I will be Messiah. Like I always talk about the Messiah complex. Like it gets to me how many people are activists doing great work. But you sit down with this person, you find out I'm man. Quite Messiah complex akuba ndizawubenzela. Yabo ndizawulighta eTambo Square. In fact, you know, I'll get it done. Like it's rhetoric yakho ninjalo, and it's so for me it's very scary about people who are saying they're doing the Lord's work are actually disempowering people every single day.
No babes when the whole saga came out last year.
You think you're helping, but you're
But
actually
it's not.
disempowering
Yeah.
somewhere somehow.
Yeah.
And it's also like, when do we recognize Abantu have their own agency? Like
Even when they are the ones who need the
agency.
help, they still
Like
maintain
nobody has,
agency.
but like
Yeah.
sometimes you need to bite your tongue and wait for people to be like, this is the type of help we
I
want,
need.
and side by side now it's like nothing for us without us.
Yeah.
Like people don't take that seriously enough, but you can't just be
for us
for
without
indoors about
Share about them.
by the time you get to them, they're like, we've moved on to the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bucula yakho inote, masuka enye inote.
sayigqiba leyo wena uzohamba ukoleka iifans uthi ukoleka uba abantu babe nombane eTambo Square ufike sebesithi yasibhizi ngamanzi thina nje sadlula sibona uba amanzi, because you are doing nothing with the people, whereas you could have gone and looked for mhlambi funding for the power and the water and this all together.
Or look for people who are actually doing the work in the space, because we assume also in the same breath that abantu bahlela benzi for
yeah,
but
that's
they're
the
actually
thing.
doing. But ufika na la savior
That's the
complex
thing,
yeah.
nyani uzixola ba hayi kakade these people have been docile.
Yeah.
I'm coming and activating the space.
Naleyo is for me part of how people continue to gatekeep other people, because grassroots activists are doing it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
By Pila.
Yeah.
If you are working in a community PP Tambo Square, for instance, I'm going to keep using Tambo Square. It's my favorite. But when I land, if you get Tambo Square, also bully social in 12 hours at most, 8 hours, because 9 to 5. But there are people who are working there 24/7, and the moment ungena kwakho in that space, kungayi recognize one, dignity yabo bantu, and two, the power they hold situation yabo, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
Because that's how we are walking into people's situations. It's like, I know best, I know how to organize, I know how to use Twitter. Like for instance, you know. So I'm just gonna walk in and see what you need, take pictures, then I'm gonna go put it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Then hopefully someone's gonna see it and retweet and give you money and you're gonna be okay. But then you didn't even ask Yolanda or Satam Square what you want.
Yes, thank you.
How can I help you? How, you know?
Yes.
If
yes.
how can we help you? But honestly, like how
what
can
do
I?
you need?
Because every person, I believe every person is a resource. Like when we talk about resources, I time we value but every person has a skill that's a resource to the movement, to
the
fighting
betterment
whatever
of
injustice
society,
at that moment. So it's about people not walking into spaces and saying Nandiayaz because I know my talents. No, it's how do you use me? How do you use me? How do you use my influence, if no influence, to get your point across? Like what type of resourcing do you need for what you are already doing? Because trust and believe that someone was already doing that. And you know, we walk into people's communities, a running project here to 5 months, fuck out.
Reports for the
when
funders.
we spend the money that we were given to spend in that space, and then we just leave people. And this is why people are hurtful with your NGOs.
Yes.
Hurtful with your activists coming in and saying we're doing this, your movements, your whatever. And this is killing the people power. It's killing it on a daily basis. Abantu are like, oh, here they come again. Oh, NGOs, they're going to take pictures.
Friend, what do you think about, on that note, layer movements? It's like, for example, TTS, like the big 1 August march. And yes, it was started by 5 people who could be everyday black women or black queer women or whatever. And they want to fight gender-based violence. But as the day arrives on the 1st of August, now it becomes a personality thing. It's about, was it Knox Esetu who started it? They need to be the ones who are taking pictures.
What did they start? That's my question.
That's
First
my
question is, what did you start in the fight against gender-based violence? For real, come on.
Yeah.
Like, think about it yourself. What the fuck did you start? Who started like Mda no, this is not the time, this is not the place, this is not the issue. Like, hey, back when I'm in South Africa, I'm going competition with popularity. If you buy face we are tired of people being faces of things. Like, I don't want to speak because it's too close to the time. Like, I'm getting touched, getting triggered. But like, I'm tired of people. I'm not gonna say hijacking situations because I don't think anyone goes into a fight of that nature
intentionally wanting.
I think the intentions are always good. It's I want to be part of this fight, but your problem is that you center yourself.
There you go.
And you think it's about you, and you see a chance. You're like, ndanyuka. This is how.
It's a ladder, corporate ladder, money ladder.
This is how. Career. You understand? Whereas zimpilo zabantu also. Career, politics of the stomach, slambile sonke. But stikiwa go face off because or face off, when face off dies out, everyone else's efforts die out with the face off. That thing of centering one person, and we tried this with Fees and Soul. We tried to not have
faces,
leaderless movement. Don't that thing. We tried to decentralize power in as much as we could, but come to think of it, there were still people who assumed positions they were never given. There were still people
who shut a person up from talking in the space.
There were still people. So I think the main question is, how do we manage that in our movements? Because in sharp, I'm leading this movement, and principles that the movement is ABCDE. Then I go and do some unprincipled bullshit, and then everyone is now credibility of the entire movement.
It's because of you, the one person.
Credibility, and
then next thing, those kids are wild. They're out here burning hotels in Joburg, like
that type of thing. So it's very, very dangerous that people think in a fight as old as time against gender-based violence, you can come and want to claim that it is mine. It is I that did it. It's not yours, babes. You might have sat down and thought of, a specific event. It is an event in the course of something that's been ongoing.
Yes.
Our grandmothers, great-grandmothers, they were to like Sindoza corner. It's been.
Yeah.
So just because you came up with an event in the course of a struggle that's very long lead, that's beyond you. You might die and will still be at it.
Fighting that struggle.
So how is it, you know? And like ilando basifuna heroes man. Sifuna umuntu azophuma naye basamelwa ngubani.
But now we need to get to a point where she has melatonin.
Yeah.
As abantu, right?
Let me be my own hero.
Yeah.
That's great too.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine.
I mean, that's what it should be. In fact.
And that's where the cultural shift needs to be. Because in the politics of this country, it's always been someone has to
Your Nelson
ascend as
the hero.
as the hero, as the face. It worked for them because they could rally around one. I don't know how, but somehow
also
that
communication was different then.
Yes.
The reality now is that it's easier for us to communicate with Undos Namaziyo than
Yes.
it was back then.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's easier for us to contact Undu was in Northwest, Undu was in Botswana, Undu was in Nigeria than it was ever at that point in time. So just the fact that information and communication can disseminate like
this.
that.
Yeah. You know,
makes a huge difference.
Friend, you know, I'm so glad you bring this up. Panyaza, my friend Ria was telling me just yesterday, we were talking about, you know, people power and all of these things, it's just the schooling system. And, you know, because winter, you learn are going to school. So parents,
I saw that too.
Yeah. So, you know, parents have been complaining about also just the winter uniform, how the fake, like it's very cold. In government schools for schools. And then they were talking about let's change like when school holidays are, so that if it's winter, kids are actually at home and they're like, let's just change the system. Panyaza apparently, I mean, this is word of mouth. You responded, saying that, listen, do you know that there's a like a bill or something out there, whatever, that's being for public gazette or whatever. Or
what he was saying is sorry to cut you.
No, it's fine.
What he was saying is that parents actually have a say in when holidays are.
Oh,
yeah.
In the sense that we are publicized our dates. These are the proposed dates. Do you like them? Do you not?
Okay.
Actually.
Business.
So the ones in this country, as it stands, we already know the ones who are commenting there are the ones who will follow the sun and take their kids somewhere for the
warmth.
Yeah, for the warmth.
Oh, yeah.
It's So it's those things.
It's touching to that, even at home, power and you know, and even things of communication, information dissemination, right? Then I was saying to Ria, okay, cool, this is like a mind shock even for me, but then still technology, access to the avenues of going. Youth, like I have a younger brother. Then these are also campaign on Amandla.mo. Here's a campaign we're calling for, you know, school dates to change, whatever. Because again, like bureaucracy, gatekeeping. Why do our parents do not know what is going on and what they can do in terms of bettering their own children's lives when you're paying as well, you know? So it's very concerning. And I think, I mean, I'm not dragging Panyaza, this is more of a comment. And I think people like him, he makes me happy in how he conducts how seriously he takes his office and the work that he has to do as a public servant. He tries his best to get out every information that is like on par. Whatever conversation has to do with education, basic education, he's on there, especially in Gauteng, I guess, because he's the MEC in Gauteng. And he tries his best, but we also need to help him. So colors, good Twitter, sends the hashtag. But then after that, Panyaza also got other things to do. He'll follow through, but if y'all don't come with the numbers as well to say, yay, we actually know our rights. That's another thing.
It's a whole, we have all this information, but what are we doing with the information?
Hold
so
it.
For instance, in that situation, we already know who's gatekeeping the space of deciding the holidays. So what do we do as a black community to say, okay, I'm not let's say born and shit. So how do we get together to make sure the next time we decide it dates the holidays, we're all involved? And that's where the people power comes in. Like you're not going to be able to do it alone. That one parent who sent something to Upanyaza asking about holidays, one or commander on the dates, they're not going to do anything A1 because it's a quick group of band who are already deciding those dates, but like there needs to be like a core group of other people joining in to say these are the dates we want, and that's the people power effect. You can have all the information you want, you can know as much as you want.
But that's the thing, it's not doing headlines. I didn't see headlines, that's the thing. Critical information like that, should have been headline news and MEC actually says, you know, parents have the. Did you know? You have have a say in when school holidays can.
Did you know?
Did you know? Breaking That's the thing. So we are all complicit in one way or the other. I think, especially as people who are holding those platforms of mass communication dissemination, they are the ones who are most complicit. We are all complicit, but if you have a platform where you can reach thousands, like numbers, what kind of information are you getting out there? You know, how much of an active citizen are you for your own country? You know, are you playing into whiteness, capitalism, neoliberalism, or are you actually playing towards, you know, bettering people, black people's lives, black women's lives, you know, black queer people's lives?
But like, yeah, in the spirit of gatekeeping, like, the whole Zodwa saga and how people try to gatekeep what feminism is, what a feminist looks like, what a feminist would do, what she would not do, and that whole thing. So I think there's also gatekeeping in schools of thought. You can't sit with us,
in schools of thought.
You can't sit with us.
Yeah.
And the gatekeeping is also about, like, I think it's a very dangerous moment we are in. That we are leaving so many people behind and we are preaching to each other. In the corners because our principles align, our values align. So let's talk to each other in our little silos, tea parties, kumnandi. But the rest of the peoples are being left behind. And as we leave people behind, we lose our power.
Yes.
Like,
so two steps forward, 5 steps back.
Yeah, as we leave people behind, that's our power.
Yeah,
it's going. So like, for me, it's also like we caution against. I'm not saying cancel culture. I'm not saying people mustn't cancel people they wanna cancel, right? But I feel like there are specific people in for me, like black women, for instance. No ways, I'm not doing that to a black.
We're always bearing the brunt, dude.
Because babes, the moment Dikshi and Ziji there's power and Zodwa has people that are behind her. So the next time you need to do something, you won't be able to access that pocket of society. And it's that culture. I don't need those people. I don't need you to advance propaganda. Yeah, I'm used to struggle at the time, but actually we need every single person, and that's what people are not getting.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm getting to is there's also like a lot of knowledge that we are gatekeeping.
Yep.
There's a lot of it.
Experiential knowledge.
Generally, in like, you know, there's values we could be sharing with people. There's values that people share with us and they don't even know they share with us. Right? But siyafilterisha mndazi, you know, it's siyahluza, and then next thing is going to be 10 of us trying to change an entire country. Change it with who?
Exactly.
When you fought with every single person
to get to that point,
you cut out and shut down and kick down every single other person, and then says sheka sobathathu hey, how do we end this gender-based violence? Say enda kanjani nabani?
Senze lo violence thina. We replicated the violence amongst each other.
Because nyani ke we wokeness here to replicate violence. A specific type. It's very violent how we deal with people based on how dare you have. As I've used this power when in your land, you know very well you go home and endlin go when these are the views your uncle, your aunt, your neighbor, your banwan hold. But because I'm in your land and I'm in the public eye and this and that, how dare you express those views on a public platform? But babes, if we're being honest,
how many people are we hold and we keep quiet? Because
bureaucracy has so, and then we cancel, and then at some point shake sort of circles that we don't even like each other in our activist circles. We are just wow, it's exhausting actually.
It's very exhausting.
I don't have the answers, sorry.
Sometimes it's not even about having the answers, you know, it's just about avenues of navigation. You know, in Telula, just knowing how to take a left instead of taking a right. Either way, direction, it's not the direction you want because the destination is not the destination you want. But funeka sifike somewhere.
And these conversations are very important because are inspiring other people, are helping other, you know, helping people navigate. They're inspiring us, and they showing so I have qualms, but clearly not qualms. You're helping,
and that's how you enhance the people power.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. You share values with so many people and you don't even know it. You look at them, you're like, swear. Wasn't no. The moment it wasn't. Some kabele phandle.
We need to revolt.
Some kabele phandle lo mntu lo, and once umkhabele phandle, you've lost someone who could have been shoulder to shoulder with you.
Yeah.
I understand. Once umkhabele phandle, and I think this is one thing our movements are not getting at all. Our movements are very obsessed with fuck you, go away.
Yeah.
And
How dare you express dissent? How dare you even express the same values as me in another language?
Yes.
Because the person could be saying literally the
Same thing.
you say.
These must
They
fall.
just don't have they don't have the buzzwords.
Yeah.
They don't have the woke Twitter terms. They don't have those things.
Yeah.
And this is how we are leaving behind grassroots activists in
Yes.
communities, and we're not reaching communities because
Yeah.
it's like, yep, uzawufika umntu ayithethe ngale ndlela yakhe, and you're like, ew, what are you saying? Ajiva le nto uyithethayo, and you want to put it in your own words as Yolanda and all that, and that person is just like, whoa, sayonara, goodbye.
Umoshile
Uhlele
ixesha.
ndiyenza ngale nto umoshele ixesha wena ne-NGO yakho.
Bye.
Ak.
But also this thing of like friendships and people wanting to like, I mean, like in activist spaces, it's fine. We don't have to be friends. But just because I'm not your friend doesn't mean you must disrespect me.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that you mustn't take into consideration what I'm saying.
We don't have
You don't
to.
know
You don't have to be
me.
friends. Now I'm
I don't like people.
That's fine. I don't, you know, most of us are actually introverts. You'll find. Asifuni uba these spaces ezigcwele abantu sixoxe izinto ezinzima, because that is who we are, but we're here because of the cause.
And that should just suffice. It should
that
be
should be
enough.
enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I nzima, but
Yeah.
wait, thank you so much for
Yes, definitely.
uqhuba intloko, amathambo entloko.
Amathambo
Yeah,
entloko.
ingqondo. Guys, Xhosa is missing me here in the GP.
It's coming.
But Siyabulela Nyani, it's been such an insightful conversation, and I hope this is the first of many conversations.
Yeah, invite me again.
Yes, we'd love that.
Bali lakho is very important for mabali wethu.
Yes.
Let's do the wetu in the Mavalis, eh?
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely.
The wetu.
All of the
I like the wetu.
Amabali wethu.
It's not Yolanda, it's not Tiko.
No, it's not me.
mine
it's
too,
not you.
yeah?
It's
yours
whose?
too.
It's yours.
all about
It's wethu.
Wetties. Siyabulela.
Siyabulela.
Thank you.
Thank you.
abayivayo le nto
Sithi abalulayo.
abayiva
Okay.